Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you don't already know, my name is Sean, and this is Fern, my 1966 Chevrolet C20 pickup truck. Fern has just got her painless performance wiring kit installed, and that means she's pretty much done. With a few odds and ends to do, like the seat, I have to finish up with the sun visors. The window just started acting up, the driver side window. But for the most part, she's all done and she's running and she is reliable. So the main thing I wanted to focus on with the restoration of Fern to this point was making her presentable and making her reliable. Before, I was having some wiring issues where she wouldn't start all the time, the batteries were draining, and I think that came down to a voltage regulator, but I'm not 100% sure. So I went ahead and got rid of all that old wiring because it was original wiring and it was looking rough. The old owners over time had spliced wires here and there, and I felt it just better to replace it with all new wiring. So if you've been watching and wondering, well, where's Fern been? What's the progress and updates on that? It was about a 2-month process because even though it's painless, for me it was a little difficult because it's the first time I've ever done anything like this. And if I could do it, anybody out there can do it as well. We're gonna have a video series on that coming soon. It's gonna be a lengthy video series because I detailed the entire installation process, and that means it's going to take some time to edit, but it will be detailed and we'll show you how to wire a 1966 Chevrolet C10 C20 1966 Chevy truck from start to finish. Aside from that, I have a little bit of touch-ups to do. I would eventually like to get a new radio, one of those old radios. Well, actually it's a new radio that looks old because I want some Bluetooth so I can listen to my phone and my music. And then we're gonna go ahead and I want to get a new cover for the bench seat as well as do the sun visors. Then I might have to do some conduit and cleaning up with the wires because I just finished the shakedown and I drove probably 300 miles since making the last video, and she's been doing really well. So now I could actually present you Fern. And if you haven't been following along with this build, Fern started off as a blue truck off of a farm, and I titled one of the videos Unbelievable Barn Find, and a lot of people didn't believe it came from a barn. Well, that's because I didn't actually show it leaving the barn. This was one of my first YouTube videos, and I thought, you know, it being on the farm property, people would understand that it came from a farm. Well, they didn't, and there's some haters in the comments, but whatever. She's a barn find. She had 30-something thousand original miles, and even though she was beat up and the bed was rough and there was a pretty questionable restoration job done on her before, she's still an original truck. So fast forward to today, Fern had 2 new doors. She had a new sill plate in the bed, a new front panel of the bed. The bed came from a Kansas truck that I received from Street Machinery in Cleveland, Ohio. The Bedwood was all restored, and well, basically that means the original truck here was the motor, the frame, or the chassis, and the cab. And then I had Kersop Auto Body paint her this beautiful green color that I'm sure you guys are thinking maybe that original forest green. Well, it's not. This is Stump Green. And if you guys aren't familiar with Stump Green, well, that's because it's a color that my grandfather and grandmother came up with in the late 60s, early 70s. As you can see, it's beautiful. It's actually based off an old Mack color, Mack trucks that is, and it's ever so slightly different because obviously it is my grandfather and grandmother's color. And if you guys have followed along with the build, you'd seen whenever I got to show my grandfather the truck after I got it painted, and he goes into a little bit of the color details, like that my grandmother liked the color a lot and that they picked out together. While I was working on the wiring, I had our company logo made up and put on the side of Fern, because Fern is a tribute truck to my family business. And for those of you guys who don't know, most of you don't, my family owns a moving and storage business. This truck is a tribute to my family's legacy. We have a business that was started in 1936 by my great-grandfather and is now in its 4th generation. that would be me. And I really wanted to showcase that. Our history is rich, and we are very proud of the work we do. You guys mostly know us for our DIY projects here on the channel, but in my professional life, that's what I do. So Fern is a tribute to that. And if you're interested in learning a little bit more about that, I'm going to link our YouTube channel right here. Go ahead and click and tap the screen right now, and if you missed that, it's right down in the description below. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel there, especially if you're interested in trucking and realistically the moving and storage industry. If you ever need to move, we have a ton of YouTube tutorials there for you that can help you out, and just help us out by liking and subscribing. Now Dave, on the other hand, Dave is actually an architect. If you followed along with this channel, you've seen that, and he's let that show in our videos. He has a YouTube channel as well, and you guys can follow that by tapping or clicking the screen right now, and again, it'll be listed right down there. Do him a big favor and subscribe to the channel, especially if you're interested in building construction and architecture. He's a wealth of knowledge, and I'm sure you guys will find that very interesting. So go ahead and subscribe to his channel, help him out a little bit. And before I take you for a little tour of Fern, if you guys like what you see, go ahead and hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos about Fern, my 1966 Chevrolet C20 pickup truck that I'm actively restoring and bringing you along for the journey. You can do anything you put your mind to, and I am proof of that, and this is a case study on putting your nose to the grindstone and getting it done, because anybody with a good attitude can do this stuff. Now, like I said earlier, I still have some stuff to do, but she's running and she's driving, and I'm able to enjoy her. I'm going to put her away for the winter, and then next summer we'll be able to bring her back out and bring some videos to you guys. But I will be working on her throughout the winter, just not able to drive because we don't have the best weather. All right, guys, you can see I painted all the little trim accessory pieces to match the exterior two-tone of this truck. This steering wheel, it pops, it's beautiful. And this little piece here, this little gem, as they'd say, well, I got that in a salvage yard that had a bunch of classic vehicles. In fact, it was only classic vehicles, including a 1960, I would say 4 through 6 Chevy C10, and it was a very high model, like an extremely high level trim. It had all the chrome accents you could ever think of, including this, and I was able to salvage this and add it to my truck. You can see it's not perfect. I tried cleaning it up the best I could, but it being not perfect adds a character that I really like. I mean, if you looked earlier, the bumpers, front and back, have not been re-chromed, and I really enjoy that. And clearly I need to get a new radio back there, but that's a patch panel. They did a great job. You guys can see it was a really good job by the Kershaw Auto Body guys. And then everybody with a classic truck needs, absolutely needs, a hat rack. Cowboy hat rack at that. And we got to go and add a new cap to the light. Coming back here, you guys can see I added the spare tire rack. I had it back behind underneath the truck when I first bought it. I didn't like it. This adds character and class that I know a lot of the cool guys in the car scene don't really like, but I really enjoy that. And then you guys got to take a look at this bed. This bed has so much character. So I sanded down and reused the original wood here, and then I polyurethaned it 5 times top and bottom, but only after I stained it. And it was a kind of a classic stain, but it took a yellow hue to it, which adds character to this truck because yellow is one of the other colors of my family's business. As you can see, we're green and gold. And another cool thing is I was able to save the patina of the bed strips. So I only cleaned them up, and then I clear coated them about 6 times, leaving this yellow gold hue, or, you know, roughed up paint from the original truck. So at one time these were all gold to match the body of the truck, and now what's left is the patina, and I clear coated it to keep it. That way it shows the history of this truck. A lot went into this, guys. I am so excited, and I can't wait to continue working on it. and I hope you guys are too. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. If you have any questions, concerns, any ideas, what should I do next? Let me know. I can't wait to hear from you guys, and you know I'll get back to you. Now that two-tone, that's not original to these trucks, my family's trucks. That two-tone is actually a Ford cream color. It's like an ivory, and it is a Ford color, so you guys who are purists, you might not like to hear that, but it matches very, very well with the truck. In fact, Jay over at Cursoft Auto Body, he really had to talk me into it. He's like, man, trust me, trust me, trust me. And I was like, all right, I trust you. You're the professional. And it looks a lot better than a pure white would have looked. In fact, I even had him do the steering wheel, and then later I went and did the trim around the instrument cluster, because it's like, well, those little accents on the interior, which the interior is all green as well. And I believe that adds a lot to the overall character. That's not something that was standard on these trucks. They were like a gray color on the interior when they came from the factory, and it was gray up until I had them painted. And then I had them install a new radio plate, because one of the old owners had removed the radio plate at some point, or cut, I mean, they cut so they could put an aftermarket radio in there, and it looked horrible. Anyways, I know that's long-winded, but for the most part, Fern is a strong, reliable, running truck right now, and I'm able to drive her around. Thanks for watching the video, guys. If you stuck around this long, I know you've enjoyed it. So go ahead and hit that like button for me, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more videos about Fern, my beautiful 1966 Chevrolet C20 pickup truck that I'm actively restoring, and I'm bringing you along for the ride. I'll catch you in the next video, and until then, thanks for watching.